Hey, welcome to the Social 333 podcast. I'm your host, Chris Bentley. Today, my guest is Vlad Tayman. Vlad, welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Awesome. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself and what you got going on.
All right, absolutely. Before we go on, I just want to tell everybody that I've been listening to your show a lot, and I really like what I hear, man. A lot of great value. So if anybody's watching, I strongly recommend give this podcast 5 stars. I already did myself, so it has a lot of value here, especially for people who are entrepreneurs and are looking for different ways to make money. It's phenomenal. So I really appreciate you having this show, man.
Absolutely. Appreciate you coming on the show. So talk to the audience a little bit about what you got going on at Trader Foundation.
So basically what we do is we help people change their lives when it comes to their current situation, when it comes to corporations they're working at. A lot of people have careers. And unfortunately, a lot of people are getting burned out. I myself had a situation where I was working for a Fortune 500 company for 21 years and had a really serious situation happen to me where I was presenting one day. I was a sales director and I was a training director at the same time. So I had a lot on my plate, managing over 500 people. And at one point, I had a scenario where I was talking to people. I had 80 people in front of me presenting and just started getting really dizzy, almost passed out, total memory loss for a while just from that moment. And I finished the whole thing. I finished the training, but it had a real big impact on me. I had to leave my job. I had to talk to my boss. And since then, we had a situation where basically he told me I had to leave my job for a while because I couldn't function. And at the time, I didn't know it was basically burnout, anxiety, things like that. But at the time, no one really looked at that. So I had to leave for months. Thought it was going to be a week, but it ended up being months. So with that said, I ended up going from doctor to doctor, trying different things, seeing what was wrong with me because I didn't know. And it just led me to a bigger hole. So I wanted to do something about it. The issue I had was I was working, I was making a lot of money and didn't know how to replace the income. And I tried different things. I tried a sandwich shop for a while. That did not work because I couldn't handle both things. And eventually I did find trading. And it was very difficult because I lost $150K in sandwich shop and I wanted to try something else. But I decided to try trading, but I tried day trading. I tried following people's signals. I tried different approaches like that. Thought it would help me because I had to still keep my job. You know, I had to go back to work because I couldn't figure it out how to do without it. And I ended up losing another $29,000 at age 29. So it was pretty nuts. So eventually I had a scenario where I had to make a decision what I wanted to do, either go all in on my job and continue with what I was feeling or maybe change. And eventually I found a coach who told me that trading could be a lot easier if you let it be. And what I've learned is, basically, he told me, you know what? I know you want to leave your job. I know you can't really handle it mentally, but it's going to take you some time. And he took me under his wing for a few months. He showed me the ropes. It took a little bit, but eventually I was able to learn the skills to actually become a trader. And that's how I was able to eventually get out of my 9 to 5 or whatever you call it, which was really a lot more hours than that.
Talk to me about the healthcare. Is that just something of just being overworked? Is it like actual? I don't want to get into your own personal stuff.
No.
But like I had a health issue, and I was just kind of wondering because I had to do a lot of that stuff. Like I had to present when I had a corporate job.
Mm-hmm.
I presented like once a week or once a month, and I don't think I had necessarily an issue with it, but I was in the same boat. And even when I was working at I probably shouldn't even say this, but when I was working at the government, I was in the same boat. Like I didn't necessarily have a health scare, but I knew it wasn't right for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like even though I really enjoyed it, there's some other jobs that it was the same thing where it's just a lot of high stress.
Yes.
A lot of working every single day,
Mm-hmm.
Monday through Sunday. You got reports that need to be pushed out. You got stuff that's due. You got people calling you all the time. You know, even you get, you know, 500 people. I had staff too. And it's always like a little bit of everything. You know, you got a little bit of HR today, and you got a little bit of this today, and a little bit of babysitting today, and a little bit of, you know, reports going out, a little bit of, you know, dealing with the boss kind of situation. Where or when did it kind of dawn on you, like, hey, look, like, I got to make a change, whether it be with the sandwich shop or whether it be, you know, hustling, trying to make some trades? Like, when did you really realize that? Was it your health, or was it you just was like, look, like, I'm just tired of this. Like, I've been doing it for 20 years. Like, I'm just tired of it all.
Yeah, so it started off pretty good I mean, in the beginning when I was younger. I actually enjoyed it. It's actually addictive, you know, because the money was good.
Right.
I'm not gonna complain about the money, but that was also the trap. Because when you're making so much money, you get used to a certain lifestyle. And when it really changed for me was when I had my daughter. In the back of my mind, I knew this is not gonna be good because I was traveling all over the Northeast. And again, as you know, juggling a lot of positions, you finish one task, 20 others pop up, and you can never feel fulfilled. So I knew the change had to happen inside my gut, but I also felt like the money's too good, so you almost felt like it was a denial. And I did not make any change, and I don't think I was too scared. I was too scared of what would happen, what if. So and the other thing is, a career took me a long time to really get and train. So when I really finally developed that, then I'm like thinking, well, if I have another way to make money, how am I going to do it? How am I going to do it? I have to learn something else. So that was a fear. So eventually, I think it came to a point where it was in my gut. It was for a while. And literally, I think it happened in a moment when I just remember the doctor called it depersonalization, where you just feel like you're in a fog, you're in a daze. And he basically said it's your cortisol levels are so high and everything happens so high that your body just gave out. But I knew about 5 years before that I had to make a change, but I wasn't going to. I really wasn't. I was making too much money. You're in the world. You're already, you know, everything's moving. Like, how do you just go and say, hey? So I just kind of smiled to my family, smiled to everybody, knowing that this is an end at some point.
I want to talk a little bit about the sandwich shop and then get into trading. I think that you're on, you know, the right path, because it's the same thing with, you know, we have entrepreneurs in the audience, right?
Yeah.
Small business owners. It's just the same thing. Like, you create something. I just had this discussion with somebody yesterday, and I'll get to the bottom of the whole thread here. But
Yeah.
you know, you have an idea, right? Which is the sandwich shop. You're like, okay, well, you know, I need a break from this, so I'm going to go do this, and I'm going to do this for a little while. And whether it is a success on paper, a monetary success, or an emotional success, or maybe it's a teaching success, I found that looking at anything that you created and saying that it wasn't a success is absolutely incorrect. Absolutely incorrect. Because the value that you get from doing stuff, trying, and even if you don't succeed, there's successful lessons in that. I'll give you a really good example. I was in network marketing, and I was selling insurance policies, and the biggest thing that you do is recruit people, right? So you have like a downline and all that stuff. And every single day, from Monday through Friday, I would have these like interview sessions where I'd have to speak for 30 minutes to an hour about the company, why they should join, blah, blah, right? And after a while, you get to the point where it's the same thing every single day. It's just the people are different, and you like laugh at your own jokes, or at least I did, right? And it was the same thing every single day. And I'd always ask myself, like, Chris, like, why are you doing this dumb thing? Like, every single day you go do this thing, like, it's a complete waste of time, right? You have those like thoughts in your head.
Yeah.
And then later on in life, like, I'm doing a podcast, right? And then it's like I'm in front of thousands worldwide, right?
Yeah.
And it's just some of those like little small lessons. I could have sat there and been like, I'm sure you have lessons with the sandwich shop. You could have been like, you know what, like this was a complete failure. I'm going to crawl up under a rock and die. Everybody hates me. Woe is me, and never spin off of it and
Mm-hmm.
just like be like, okay, well, I guess I'm destined to work a job, and if this doesn't work, I'll go make sandwiches at Subway or something, right? Um, I think now that we're in this kind of economy where you can go online and take courses, you can learn how to do different things. If you aspire to be a trader,
Mm-hmm.
um, I think, and me personally, and what I've seen is that not everybody's built to trade.
Mm-hmm.
And if they are trading, they can maybe trade, let's say, a stock and like a chip stock, and they make a couple bucks, and they can feel that rush of just like a gambler, right? Like feel that
Mm-hmm.
rush of making that couple $1,000 or that $100 or that $10, whatever it is, and be okay
Mm-hmm.
and be happy with themselves and say that they are successful. And they don't need to necessarily be like somebody like myself that's a day trader, that's doing options, that's doing this and that and trying to short
Yeah.
this stock and short that stock. Um, what have you seen with your students? Because I'm sure a lot of the students come into the program and they expect to have kind of the results that I have or I've had. And it's really not the case. Like, not everybody's built for trading. There's some days where I have to spend multiple hours staring at my screens. Um, sometimes I'll be in the weeds like 30,000
Mm-hmm.
bucks, and I'll have to take a $30,000 hit because I guess the wrong thing and somebody's running something different.
Mm-hmm.
We all know that the market's manipulated at some angle, even though I can't really say that, but we all know, right? So when somebody does come in and say, "Hey, look, like I want to become a student, I want to learn more about trading, I want to sign up for your course," um, do you kind of caution people like, "Hey, everybody's results can be a little bit different. I'll help you as much as I can, try to get you on the right path, but at the same time, like me, like be prepared to lose some money."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we have. I'll tell you, when it comes to trading, you mentioned day trading. That's not for everybody, for sure. I personally tried day trading when I lost $29,000. I remember it very specifically. I was actually up about $5,000, and that was like one of my first times trading, and I thought I was a genius. And literally 15 minutes later, I am down 20,000, and I try to rebound. It, I'm not a gambler. I've never been a gambler. That I remember having a pit in my stomach, and it lasted for weeks. So I knew that's not for me. I just can't do it. I can't. I don't have the risk tolerance for that. And so when I did that, and I only day traded for a month until I took that hit, and I was like, I can't emotionally live like that. So some people can. Some people love the rush. Some people love the risk. Some people just like being in the weeds. Like, you have to love it. I don't. Personally, I don't. But what I've learned is there's other approaches. For me, I had to figure out, how do I trade? How do I learn a skill, in this case trading, that I could do while still working? Can you imagine managing 500 people and day trading? Like,
It's impossible.
People try it,
Right.
and I've heard people say, "Well, bro, you could do it I got out in 1 minute. I got out and right away." I get that, but your brain is in, because every time I ask them, no, this is what I do. And that's great. I'm not saying you can't make money. You could make money. I can't make money like that. I don't think emotionally I'm set up for that. But when I started looking at other things, that like swing trading approaches and more of collecting premiums, which is a way to make money where you don't have to sit in front of a screen. And when I started learning those approaches, the biggest thing I learned from those approaches is I needed a mentor to show me the foundation. Like, I know you mentioned you've traded before. You probably, when you started, you probably either lost a lot of money.
I did.
And it, for many that I've talked to, sometimes takes decades to learn and really gain those losses to really understand it. So the person that mentored me, he said, you have two options to really make money. Like, you're not going to day trade. You've tried that. You've tried signals. You've tried AI, all these things, different ways. I even had somebody else trade for me and he stole my money. So
Damn.
yeah, it was bad. Like, it literally just disappeared. I didn't know better.
Wow.
Now people know, but So because I've tried everything, I eliminated everything else. I basically was leveraged to saying two things. He said, "Look, I will show you a couple things. I'll show you strategies. Okay, I have no problem showing you strategies. Here's a book, but I will tell you, with every strategy, you're going to make mistakes and you're going to lose money." It was very straightforward. And eventually, maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years, I don't know. It's going to take you some time and then you'll get it. The other option, you invest in a coach. And what a coach does, I'm going to show you the same thing, but I'm going to take all those decades, turn them into days, because I'm going to show you exactly how it is. And he told me basically, look, it's like learning how to dance. Like, you could watch someone on TV and try to copy their moves, but not everybody's Michael Jackson, right? It takes a coach, it takes a choreographer at that point to really help you do that. Once you build that foundation, once you get all those things, you could copy anybody you want. You could do day trading, you could do those things, but you need to have a strong foundation, and that's what people miss. And it takes them either years or you take the other approach.
I've spent so much money on gurus and trading courses. Um, and then I don't know, like I've lost a bunch of money and then I made a bunch of money and I made more money and like sometimes it fluctuates.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a gambler. So like like we were talking about offline,
Mhm.
right? Like I'll sometimes gamble and it'll go the wrong way for me. I'm not scared to take a hit. Like I took a couple of big hits last year, but it's not for everyone. And I think for the training and the gurus and the videos that you buy and all that stuff,
Mhm.
it took me a couple different gurus until I listened to one and I was like, got it.
Mhm.
Like I got the pattern, and he's shorts, and based off of him showing me the patterns of him shorting, I got the longs, which is like ridiculous, right? You think
Yeah.
about it, but the way he was saying it made like so much more sense, and I was like, okay. And then for a long time, I didn't really know how to short, which sounds like really stupid and funny. But and then I started shorting, and I was like, oh, like this is it. Like I thought it was like something that was
Yeah.
like very complex, um, until you get short squeezed, and then you're kind of hurting. But it's just different, and like that's my experience. Like, how would you say somebody that's like brand new or
Yeah.
newish, like how would you kind of coach somebody to pick a good guru or pick somebody as a mentor?
Good question. So essentially, what we've learned is number one is there's a lot of claims out there, and claims can be very deadly. So one of the things I've seen is people telling you, "Look, I'm going to show you this magical strategy, this magical course, and you're going to be amazing." That's a red flag.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's number one. Anything robotic, well, it'll just magically do it for you. If then everybody would have it, right? And then you'll have to go back working for the government and figure some
Right,
things
right.
out. So there's just people telling you you're going to make X amount of money in X amount of days, some sort of timeline. Like that, you can't really do that. So right away, that's just people trying to take your money, kind of thing. What I've learned is, look, people have careers, people got there somewhere. It takes time. The first thing you got to understand, it's going to take, couple months, maybe 90 days, maybe 4 months, some people 6 months to really understand it. So that's number one. Number two, you mentioned gurus, you mentioned courses. The one thing I will tell you is any course including the ones I could create for you, people say because I was a training director, I simplify things pretty well. But even still, I would lie to you if I told you everybody just gets it. People have more questions after they watch the videos.
Mm-hmm.
The secret ingredient is one-on-one coaching. And I say one-on-one, not where you're sitting in front of 5 different people in a Zoom class and sometimes they want to ask those questions. When it's one-on-one, it's personal. That's how I learned, because I ask a lot of questions and I could be annoying and I'm
Right.
over
Right.
analytical. So I need to know everything, so that the combination of number one, understand you got to put in the work. If you don't have 60 days or 90 days to really just sit with a coach once a week, watch a few videos, ask the right questions, and actually practice trading, then it's not going to work. But if you have those two things, that's when things start really flourishing.
I sat in a trading kind of group with like a guru, and he's a cool dude. I don't want to put anybody down in the group or nothing like that, but I find that like a lot of people just have really bad habits. And like even myself, I'm sure I have a ton of bad habits compared to somebody else that trades a lot better than me. And that's the thing that I've kind of learned and kind of picked up was that everybody trades differently. Everybody has bad habits.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, for the most part, um, like I really hate to say this, but people are just better than other people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you can be a better trader than I am, and I can't sit here and be like, "Oh my god, I gotta beat you every single day." Like you're just a better trader. You have more experience than I do. You've seen more things than I do. I have a friend that's that way. Like he used to work on Wall Street. He recommends anytime there's an economic thing. Like he's one of the people that they come and talk to.
Mm-hmm.
Like he just knows stuff that I don't know. Like he worked on Wall Street. He did those kind of things, and I'll never be able to be as good as him.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's great. So I used to sit there and internalize it and be like, oh, I gotta beat him. I gotta beat you. I gotta beat somebody else.
Yeah.
Really, you're just playing a game against the computer, which is the market. You're not playing a game against you, him, anybody else, your colleague. It doesn't really matter. And I think being a new person that's never been exposed to the stock market, maybe like their 401k or something like that. But outside of that, like I think it's a lot easier than to teach somebody like myself that has a lot of calluses from trading, has a lot of bad habits. And I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think one of the things that a lot of people shouldn't do is get into the market if they have like $10,000 or $30,000 or maybe even $50,000. I think that they should probably get into the market actively in the market when they get to like $100,000. And the reason why I say that is because if they go into the market with $10,000 and they lose half of it, they're crushed. I mean, absolutely crushed. Like you were talking about, like you were just crushed. Or they go in with $30,000. Let's say it was like their 401k, and they go in there and then they absolutely lose it. And then they see the market rebound and they could have made a bunch of money. It actually happened on one of my accounts. And they're actually absolutely crushed. And it can play a lot of physiological factors into somebody when they lose money like that. And that's like their nest egg. And that's all they got.
Yeah.
So what do you recommend? Somebody that's like brand new, obviously get a coach, get a mentor, teach them the correct way and what to look for, and try to break a lot of the myths and stuff like that that's out there. But somebody that's kind of starting out, maybe has a couple of dollars, what do you really recommend? Because I know what I would do.
So to me, one of the things we didn't talk about is strategy. You're coming from a background of day trading. So day trading is really, it's either up or you're down and that's it. We don't really teach those approaches. So number one, to answer your question when it comes to if it's somebody new, it's a different ball game. They're a little more open-minded. If it's somebody experienced, they do have habits, because most people that are experienced, they have this knowledge of the belief of the only way to trade on the market if it goes up or down, and that's it. But when you start looking at different strategies for people who just want to make collective money, for example, like spreads, where you could have a 93% chance of winning every time. If it goes against you, you're still making money. So those strategies exist. The problem with those strategies is they're capped. So we teach people, look, if you have a certain amount of money, there's a very small chance percent that you will lose. They give you percentages, but you'll only make 10 to 12%. Are you okay with that? The number one thing we ask anybody with our students is, do you like to gamble? Do you like to chase? Do you like to day trade? If at any point they say yes, it's just not for them. We're looking for people who are, hey, I don't mind making 10 to 12%. I don't mind per trade, and that's it. I don't need any more than that. Then we cap you. We make sure that's number one. Number two, anybody who's newer, who's coming in experienced, we created this guarantee with our program. If you're not profitable at a certain percentage, you don't pay anything. We'll refund you. And we do that for a reason, not because we need you to sign up. Just so you come in with the belief of, I'll give you the rules to follow. If you follow these rules step by step and you're not profitable, we're fine. then you shouldn't be paying anybody. But here's the thing. You need to follow those rules. And we've never given a refund back, because if you follow the rules, it works. A lot of the experienced people, they see the rules, or they'll follow it the first day, and then they feel like these rules don't apply to them. And that's where things go astray.
I do have to disclaim that each person's performance is different from everybody else's performance. So I don't have any sort of audit or anything like that. But I understand what you're saying. Like for me, when I got into options trading, like I have it's kind of like a guru or a coach, and they'll be like, "Hey, I'm in," or something, and I'll see kind of what they're doing. I lost a bunch of money, made a bunch of money. Options isn't very easy, and depending on how you play it, and it'll be a situation where I'm more learning than I am necessarily making money. Like if I make the money, cool. Like that's what I expect to go in and go do it. But the lessons that I learned by watching, tails and wicks and different stuff and what's going on, which is a little more complex than what you got going on, really has taught me a lot about just trading and graphs and momentum and different stuff. I recommend this, and I'm sure you probably kind of on the same page, is like if you do get into trading and you're new, learn one pattern, and that's just stick to that one. I known people that's all they do is trade one pattern, and they've made millions and millions and millions of dollars just trading one pattern.
Yep. Yeah, we do discuss that a lot. The beginning, we show you the foundation, and people always kind of sometimes get discouraged, like, but when are you going to show me the strategy? When are you going to? Let's teach you the basics, and then we're going to show you one strategy, one simple strategy. But people get bored sometimes, and they always feel like, I got to try crypto, I got to try Forex, I got to try this. Like the grass is always greener on the other side. But the reality is when you look at all those things, they all kind of have the same psychology. Just pick one, stick to one thing, and you'll get there. But people don't.
That's the toughest thing, and that's what I was talking about before, is a lot of people will look at other people and be like, oh, well, like the guy that I follow on options, like he's like, oh yeah, like I posted, I made like $100,000 this month. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I made like 10, right? Like I maybe will be him at one point, but that dude's been trading options for like 20 plus years. And I've been trading options, because I looked at it the other day, like probably like 5 months. So how can I, in 5 months, right? And even though I've been trading for years, how can I at 5 months compare myself to this dude that's been doing it for 20 plus years and know, like he knows the graphs, he knows the charts, he knows the momentum, he knows everything about everything. How can I compare myself to him? And I think that's where people make their mistake.
Absolutely. Stick to what you know. I mean, I wonder how many people out there right now wondering, like, man, if I did this type of trading, like, will it take me years to do? Will I be able to go into it and, actually do these things that these other people are going to do? I'm going to tell you, it doesn't matter what the other person does, because we don't really know how much they're making or whatever. The question is, how much do you want to make? And what's your reality? But at the end of the day, we don't know what strategies they do. When someone does it for 20 years, they've learned so many things that you're trying to compare. What the reality is, there's people out there who, like you said, one strategy, one little thing, and that's it. But the minute you start comparing, you have this bias that you have to know everything. I guarantee you, I don't know as much as that person does. Doesn't mean I can't make the money with one strategy. I know a lot of people that, just like you, they stick to one candle. I'm like, really? That's it? Just one candle? Yeah, just the first candle. I'm like, wow. So if as long as you're willing to put in the time to teach yourself and get somebody to help you, there's a lot of people who really, really are trapped in their careers. They just want something to get them to that next level. I think when people are doing it for so long, they just get bored of doing the same thing. So they have to learn different things. I've tried it. I've tried different things. I'm like, I don't get better results. I just get different results. That's all it is.
Yeah, I agree with you with the different result, because I've tried a lot of different things, and some of it's on the creative side. Some of it's just, selling or doing different things. And I think the biggest thing, I just had this discussion with somebody, and I hope the viewers like kind of really lock in on this, is that not only you can be successful monetarily, but you can be successful with what you learn. So when I was selling life insurance, I would compare myself to other people in the room because we had like the sales meetings because you're full time and you have these sales meetings and you get the leads and stuff that you pay for. And somebody would come in that was better talking, better looking, great guy or gal, and they'd be like, "Oh, I closed 5 deals, I made $5,000." And then they come to me and I'd be like, "Oh, I closed like one deal and I made, $235." And when I was younger, I didn't have like, it wasn't internet driven. I didn't have anybody to coach and stuff like that. So when it came to my $235, I was like kicking myself inside because I was like, man, like that person made $5,000 and yet like I can only come up with $235. And then it kind of like continued to steamroll. And every time I went in the thing, like I would come in with a couple $100 and they would come in with a couple $1,000. But what I was missing on the back end was that they knew and could speak more on the product than I could ever do. And they were just better at it. And it's something that I needed to spend the reps doing. But what I didn't realize, and I should have realized, was like I was making money. I was closing. Like, you know how many people go out on appointments and don't close and don't make any money?
I'll tell you bring up a good point. And this is in business. I've had these issues in business in different areas. You were on the right track, but you let other people throw you off track. And when I think back to the biggest mistakes I've ever made, if I had to really, really summarize it, is the minute I was doing something, I see someone doing it better and I switch tracks saying, that's the way. What they're doing is right and what I'm doing is wrong. And if I only saw their version of their life, they sucked at that stuff too. They stuck to one road and they went with that one road. I mean, if you think of anything you've ever been successful with, guess what? You probably sucked at it for a long time and then you became good at it. Most of the time, and I'm impatient. There are a few things in my life I stuck to, and there's a lot that I had to learn lessons to say, man, I tried this. Man, none of it works. Well, did you do anything for past 4 months? And when I looked at it, there's like, especially in business and data, I'm like, look, you were on an uptrend. And you stopped right there when it would have been, that's it. And my friend, he was killing it in his business, doing like millions a month. He told me one thing, the difference between you and me is not because I'm better than you or anything. It's, I just did the same thing over and over again and on the same platform, same everything, while you changed 7 times. And eventually, so now I had to learn, stick to one thing and do not deviate.
And do those reps. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. I think trading is the same thing. Like there's a guy that I follow that I really learned the patterns and stuff from, and he sells short and he would get trapped and stuff. And he was learning just like I'm learning now. And he would take these breaks and you would see him, like he had a friend that would video record his content and stuff. And he would take these breaks and you would see him, like you probably see me sometimes after a hard loss, like I'd just be staring at nothing, or he'd be at the beach, like throwing rocks or something, or like be thinking about like what I made mistakes on. And then he got back on the horse and is still doing it. Like he went out and traded the other day and shorted the stock and he made $6 million in the one trade.
Wow.
So like if that dude quit after that, whatever loss he had, that big loss, he would not make $6 million in one trade.
Yeah. And it's interesting how many people out there have tried trading before, and they tried day trading, swing trading, options trading, and they just had either a bad experience or maybe they had an okay experience, like you said, $200, but then they see somebody, $6 million, what am I doing wrong? Let me go on another path. What if they just would have stuck to the same path and said, look, instead of me going looking for other shortcuts, let me just learn this thing. And that to me would have avoided so much pain and agony of just, being stuck in your job forever when you could have made the right leap. Just give it a little time.
I agree. Those small little successes add up, even if you have a big one that's a big loss. Vlad, if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, wanted to talk about stocks, trading, maybe even get signed up with your coaching program, how would they find you?
Well, actually, I watched your program for a little bit. I really enjoy it. So I actually did a little special for your people here at Social 333. I created like a free gift, which basically gives them my full strategy course, gives them a little bit of coaching as well. Everything they basically need to really get started and see if this is for them. As long as they stick to it, I think they're going to enjoy it. And again, totally free for them. Like anybody who listens to your podcast, I provided you a link in the bottom here. All they got to do, click here. You'll see it says Social 333 users only, and they'll be able to get it free of charge. It'll waive all the fees for them. So
Awesome. Vlad, I appreciate you coming on the show.
thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Awesome.